Hey, thank you so much for joining this tapping meditation here today. What we will focus on today is receiving and abundance. It's something that we haven't done in a while, and it is something that is often a tough piece for people on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey. And also, I want to say that receiving has not been safe for many of us. Or what does it mean? At what price has receiving come for us in the past? What is the price we had to pay to to receive? And receiving in abundance, of course, is not just about finances or money. It's about universal abundance, so to say, of course. But we can make it very specific today, and we can make it about money today. And it's again for people on a spiritual path, often something that has this money has this stigma. Most of us have preconceptions of what it is like to be a person with money or be wealthy, and we have a lot of internal preconceptions and opinions of people who are wealthy and who have money. But the truth is that money is energy, and money is what you make of it. Money is what you decide to create of it and with it. And if your cup is more full, you have more to give. That's just a reality. So the more you let in, the more you can give, and the more you can provide more, even more so if your cup is overflowing, right? It doesn't feel like something is kind of like taken away from you in a way. And yeah, so this is something I'd like to explore with you today. As we said, kind of like receiving is something that may not have been safe for us in the past. It may have been something where we have been seeing other people's suffering and downfalls and struggles. Sometimes that's our parents, sometimes that's our community. And how have these stories and these narratives kind of like blocked our own capacity to receive? But receiving really is something that is part of the equation as much as giving. It's as important. It is as sacred to be able to receive from the divine. This is where we are allowing ourselves to be part of that divine equation of saying, I allow myself also to be provided for. And there is an honoring of the divine if we allow ourselves to be provided for. It's actually us, and if we can perceive it that way, if we can kind of like shift into this kind of perception where receiving can become actually an honoring of the higher power, whatever that is for you, however that is named for you. There is actually a sacred reciprocity that happens within that. And yeah, so this is where what I'd like to explore here today. And that being said, let's all take a few deep breaths. And as you know by now, for EFT, for us to be able to clear something, we want to really light up these neural bundles. And these neural bundles of energetic and emotional blocks, basically, of pathways of this is how it's been, this is how it has been, this is how it's been for my family. And I'm trotting along the same paths as my family has been. So we don't want to light up these paths. And the best way to light them up is if we get as specific as possible. So I'd like you to pick something specific. that you may have internally denied yourself in any way, even denied yourself by hoping that it comes, but at the same time, uh, protecting yourself by saying, it may not come, or it will not come, or I'll not even expect it to come because I don't want to feel that disappointment. And if you perceive money as energy and as something that we are in a relationship with, what does that relationship look like for you? If money were a person and you were to say, well, I want to receive you, but actually I think you're toxic and bad and you're being used for a lot of bad things, and I don't really trust you, but at the same time I'm clinging to you, that's the recipe for a toxic relationship, you know? So, and we are as much part of that relationship. So, and we are actually the creator of that relationship. So, I'd like us to change that relationship today, at least a little bit, and shift into a different mindset when it comes to that. And of course, as we say them, as we always do, our mindset work here starts from the inside and not from outside in, but inside out. So, I'd like you to think about something specific. I'd like you to think about something specific you desire, or that you, again, that you may desire, but may have been denied or denied yourself. And let's be more specific than I'd just like more income, or I just like more of this. Let's make it specific. Let's make it into I'd like to receive X amount more. Or maybe it is in the form of something material that you have been desiring. May it be a home, a house, or a car, or an expensive blender. And again, I'm already feeling it because this is where it gets really tricky for for spiritual beings to say, well, but what does that have to do with spirit? What does that have to do with my spiritual journey? And I'd like you to feel that contraction, that reaction within yourself that says, I can't even allow myself to go there. I can't even allow myself to desire that. And let's see what narratives are coming up within yourself. This isn't spiritual. This isn't ethical. It's not safe. What is the language that's coming up within yourself? What are those hidden beliefs when you tune into that specific desire? And where do you feel that contraction in your body? Let's acknowledge it. Let's breathe into it. Let's breathe into that contraction. Let's breathe into that resistance. Let's breathe into that belief, that story, that narrative of why it's not possible, why it's not safe to receive this. And maybe it's simply, for you, it's just not possible. It's just not logical. It doesn't make sense. And there's no logical way for me to receive this. where you're really concerned with the how. And let's start tapping on the side of our hands. Even though I desire, and say out loud what it is you desire. And feel how hard it is for you to even admit that, for how hard it is for you to even say that, how hard it is to even go there. I choose to accept myself anyway, but I don't really accept myself desiring this. And I acknowledge that. Even though I desire abundance in the form of, and name it. And it may be even hard for me to say it out loud. It feels really difficult to even admit it. It feels wrong. It feels icky. It feels contracted. It doesn't feel possible. And it doesn't feel safe. And I'm open to the possibility of accepting myself anyway. Even though I really desire, and say it out loud. And just feel already since the first time you said it out loud, now you're saying it at the third time, how it's already getting more possible to at least state it that you're desiring this. You already have just created more space. But I acknowledge it's hard. I acknowledge it doesn't feel safe. I acknowledge it doesn't feel possible for me. It doesn't make sense. Even desiring it does not feel safe, and I choose to accept myself anyway. Let's tap through the point starting at the top of your head. I desire. I desire what? Say it to me. Name it out loud. And it feels really uncomfortable to admit it. Eyebrow points. And again, this is a reminder that you can go at your own pace. It feels really contracted. It feels really uncomfortable. Side of the eyes, it doesn't feel possible, and it certainly doesn't feel safe for me. Under your eyes. And feel the contraction in your body. Feel the discomfort of even leaning into the desire. And we're not even at receiving, we're just at desiring it. Under your nose, just desiring this feels unsafe. It feels wrong. Under your mouth, it feels greedy. It feels unspiritual. It does not feel modest or humble. It feels too big. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for me to desire, and it's not safe for me to receive. Collarbone points. And once again, acknowledge that contraction, acknowledge that festering in your body, that blockage that says, no, no way that's possible for me, no way that's safe for me. And again, let's feel into where you feel that in your body. Bring awareness into your body once again. And let's feel into how familiar it feels. And I'd like us all now to travel back in time to a younger self of yours, a little self potentially, who has learned it's not possible, it's not safe for me to receive or even desire. How old are you there intuitively taking on this belief? When have you learned that? When was this, when did this really become true? Feel into the age. And what is the body posture of this little one or this younger one? And who is around them? Who are they learning this from? Or what is the experience this is a result of? Or experiences in many of in most of our cases. And again, what is the language here? This is scary. This isn't possible. And maybe there's even a collective language here of the family or of a community. This is not how we do this. This is not what's in the cards for us. Money doesn't fall from trees, doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are to desire this? And again, maybe there's narratives here, stories here about being humble and modest, spiritual, Christian, Jewish, whatever it is. Not being a good religious person, whatever that religion may have been for you, if you desire this, if you even have these desires, how sinful it is. And maybe for some of us, it was even the opposite of actually being that there being an abundance of financial flow, but somehow abundance or finances got conflated with love, or was the love language of your family. but it wasn't enough to really feel loved. So it may have felt like it filled some kind of hole, but it didn't really give you what it is you really desired, which is to feel loved and held and heard and seen. Or maybe because there wasn't enough, there's a belief that you needed money to feel loved. And because maybe there was neither money nor love. Again, see what it is for you. Or again, maybe there was money, but it was still a cause for stress, for fighting, for war, for stress, for worry, for so much fear. Whatever it was for you, just notice right now how the narrative that you're still playing out today is a narrative of this childhood, is a narrative of the past, is a narrative that is not really your own. So acknowledge how this is generational knowledge, it's generational learning that is not really your own. That may have been a reality even until now, but it's not really a truth. So first of all, in order for us to release this, I'd like you to acknowledge fully the fear that you have embodied around receiving, around finances, that you may have taken on from mom, dad, or others. In many of our cases, it is our original family. And acknowledge the fear in your body. Acknowledge the anxiety in your body and in the body of that little one under your arms. And I'd like you to fully see and hear and feel that little one with what they experienced. Side of the hand, I acknowledge what I learned. I acknowledge what I saw and heard. And I acknowledge what I took on at such a young age. All of these conscious and subconscious stories and narratives about receiving, about having enough or not enough, about money, about what money is and isn't, of what money can and can't do. And and that's an important one. And about my worth, my worthiness. What is possible for me, what is allowed for me, what I am permitted or not permitted to have or do. These stories of limitations that you embodied because there wasn't a choice. You didn't feel like you had a choice. And all of this is not really your own. So it's now time to release what isn't your own. And let's connect with that little one once again and see if that little one needs to express anything. Express an emotion, express a sadness, express how much they carried, how much fear and lack and unworthiness they carried for someone else, how they may have carried to make it better for their caregivers, for not being an additional load for them. So instead of internalizing this any longer, give them full permission to release and express it fully now. Grief, loss, anger, and all of these festered stories and perceptions of worthiness, of desire, of receiving. Let it express. Use your breath if needed. Take it into your pelvis while you tap. And tell this little one, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that this is what you learned. I'm so sorry that this is what you believe to be true. I'm so sorry for everything that you carried. The truth is, you are unconditionally loved and you are worthy and beautiful. And feeling safe to receive is as much part of you being a child of the light as giving. And I invite you to relax into the energy of receiving. And let's tap through these points once again. Top of your head. This blockage, these narratives. Eyebrow points came from a trauma of the past, a trauma of previous generations. Under the side of your eyes. And it's now time for me to break this cycle. I am a cycle breaker. And these beliefs, these stories, these energies of unworthiness, of lack, they were never truth. They were never the truth. Under your eyes, and it doesn't serve me. or my ancestors to repeat these cycles of fear and lack. By the power of my free will, I choose today, under your nose, to break this cycle of lack, of fear, of unworthiness. Under your mouth, any conscious or subconscious limitations, stories, beliefs, I surrender them today. And I'm letting my body know today. I'm letting my subconscious mind know today that we are unlearning all of these patterns now. They are to be released from all of the cells of my body. Collarbone points, the multi-dimensional layers of my DNA, my RNA, my mitochondria, all the parts, this old trauma, these old stories, patterns, narratives got stored and were repeated and played out. This changes now. This is interrupted now. And I'm now open and ready for a completely new story around money, finances, abundance, receiving. And my worth as a child of the light. I release any karmic burden, any misalignments, any transgressions of my own past or the past of my ancestors. When it comes to money and receiving and finances. I can own and I can repair, but I cannot carry or repair what isn't mine. I cannot process what isn't mine. And I release it now. I release the collective guilt now. Any generational guilt of exploitation or harm, either end of it, I surrender it now. I surrender it to the light. For this to be resolved and cleared and cleansed by love and light. And I'd like you to put both your hands on your heart now. And keeping your eyes closed, and once again, envisioning yourself to bathe and be washed by transformational healing waters streaming through you and around you, golden liquid light reaching all parts of your system, of your physical, energetic being, like a scanner that hits all the parts of us that have been in the shadows of unconsciousness. And there's nothing to do other than to just say yes. Yes to the clearing, yes to the healing. I surrender. And I'd like you to envision yourself as you get filled up and cleansed and cleared by this golden light of source energy to expand as source energy. And bringing in and becoming one with what it was you desired. As something that allows you to be more of that radiant, abundant being that emanates light, compassion, love, a being that gives from a cup that overflows, that emanates the reality of we are all cared for, we're all provided for. We're meant to all be loved and cared for and feel that. Being one with that reality. Of abundance, of miracles, of a flow of giving and receiving. And so it is, and so it is, so it is. And let's take another few deep breaths. Once again, feeling that new reality in your body, in the here and now. And so it is. And as always, thank you for tapping along, and namaste.